Hello again. Come on. Yes. Join us. We're at Toys Hill in Kent. Sits atop the Braested Chalk. So we're out for a walk, explore. A couple of things to look at. There's actually two parts of the area. I'm going to do a video on this half, and then there'll be a second video on the lower half, because there's a pump house, Victorian pump house, that fed water from the Toys Hill well to Emmett's Garden, which is a National Trust. I believe it's National Trust Emmett's Garden, but you can visit it. Used to pump water up there, so that'd be something to look at. And there's some really good viewpoints, because Toys Hill sits really high up. In actual fact, in 1987, I'm old enough to remember when we had the hurricane hit the south of England, and all this actually area of woodland, it's very spindly with trees, because it was known as most blown. The area actually got really badly hit and flattened in that hurricane, and I can still remember the news reports on the TV, and the pictures were heartbreaking. Everything was just laid down on one side like it just been brushed over by hand. But it's certainly grown back now. A few of the old trees survived, but that's why a lot of these trees are really young. So there's a few things I want to look at today as we walk round on this first part. But the whole wood was named after Robert Toys. 1295 paid the Manor of Otford, which isn't too far, a sum of money for the rights to rear pigs in these woods, in this land. It's obviously common land, but owned by the Manor of Otford. So that's why it's kept its name Toys Hill, after Robert Toys. But these are the remains of Weardale Manor, and this is one of the main entrances to the old manor estate that was owned by Lord Weardale. And there's the manor burnt down. It was hit by a bomb during the war and burnt down, but you can still see evidence of the old manor. There's an old wall, driveway wall, road. In actual fact, Lord Weardale was the first person ever to have a motor car up here. There was a local pub that's sadly closed now. They had a photograph of Lord Weardale in his open top car with his wife, Lady Weardale. They used this as a summer home, but apparently Lady Weardale didn't really care for it. And these trees are literally centre to where the old manor house used to be. But all that remains now is evidence of the foundations. I don't know, I might be able to find one online, but the old information board, the picture of the manor itself is faded. Oh no, it's still there, still. Oh no, it's fine. But that's what it used to look like. And as I say, for it was just the rest of it was pulled down. But there's a bit of information, yeah. Yeah, Lord Weardale, Philip James Stanhope, otherwise Lord Weardale. House was completed in 1906, and house was left to a nephew and the new Lord Stanhope. And then 1939, I think by 1939, shortly before the Second World War, the manor had become dilapidated and finally pulled down during the war. 2 bombs fell on the site, one making a direct hit already on the house. And it's a shame really, because it must have been quite a beautiful looking house. And I will show you this bit. So we're standing right the other side around the back of the house would have been, but I'll show you these steps and this area here of lawns and where the pond and fountain would have been. But if you look down, everywhere there are linear foundation marks of where the walls once run. Big cap here. I mean, this is concrete, so I'd imagine, I mean, there seems to be some drainage systems in here, but you can see the lines, and I would now, if the camera could pick that up, there's a straight line, and that would have been the front wall, and we know this because it's the right thickness for a wall to be. And here's one of the roof drain gutters, one of the gullies for the roof drains, the downpipes. So still here, and then there's lots of debris, but I think a lot of the any brickwork from the house was broken up and used elsewhere. Again, more evidence of the fact that there was something here once before. So we're standing at the corner of the house, going off down there, and obviously where the information board is, that would have been, I was round the back of the house when I was pointing that. And then those steps and fountain area are over here. I've got another lovely image. I did some filming up here a few weeks back, and it was really lovely, and you could see right out across there. I'll probably inlay that footage, because right in the distance is Reigate Hill, Box Hill. Over there is the back end of Squery's, Westram, and Crockham Hill. That hillside there, just in the foreground, is Crockham Hill. And then right, you won't see it on this film, you'll probably see it on the inlay, but is in the distance is Box Hill, near Dorking. But these steps, somewhere there was a tennis court, but I can't. I've never been able to locate the tennis court. It says that it still exists, but we walk down the steps to where the ponds must have been, somewhere in this area, the water fountain. But there's a lot of it still here, the outer garden walls. All around, you look through the bushes and that, you can find evidence. Walls here, retaining walls, pillars. They would have had some of them on, I'd imagine, lanterns in the old days to light the way. Steps going off down into the forest, or woods or forest. And over the back, where those trees are, is where the house sat. It's all maintained by the National Trust now, all this land. Come on, we go this way. It's just when you know something used to be somewhere, used to be built here, your mind is often fascinated by what it must have looked like. Parties, playing tennis on the lawns. So Norman Carnes Robertson, Captain 2nd Battalion, Hampshire Regiment, who died 20th of June 1917 at Hanover, Germany. And of Lawrence Grant Robinson, 2nd Lieutenant, 2nd Battalion, King's Own Scottish Borders, who was killed in action in France during the Battle of the Somme, 1916. So that sits just to the back of the house. So walking away from the house again, more bricks and evidence of the house once being here. Bricks laid in a line, forming a wall. But I've always been intrigued about this part because there's what looks like bricks that would have been more path-like, like a floor. But then there's this steel work, these steel beams. I just wonder whether these would have been, I mean they're quite away from the house, although I could see a corner. I often wonder if this was like a cellar, wine cellar or something, or for the preserve, you know, for the food, cold storage for the food. But I've never found the tennis courts because down the terrace over to the side it's too hilly. Somewhere here would have been before these trees obviously wouldn't have been here then, but I can imagine. So it's another one of these walks where you can make it as long as you want. That goes back down towards the manor house and car park. This would cut off a large chase. It's all circular walk. This is just an extended walk. Come along here because down here is something else it's worth having a little look at. It's an easy walk, there's nothing hard. If you do decide to divert off, it's all signposted up with arrows denoting a long walk, where it's going. If we were to go straight on, we're going to turn to the right here, but if we did go straight on, we can extend and go right through over towards Squery's Park, the Squery's estate in Westram. And as I say, the signposts are all over the place, so you won't get lost. We shall head along here. There's a little fence down there, but as I say, that then just goes off back down through Braisted Chart, and then you can filter your way over and through. It's a lovely walk. It's very hilly, but it's well worth doing. It's a lovely walk. It's not actually far from Dry Hill, where the other video we did a video on that. I should be able to find, as we walk into this part of the woodland, evidence of the 87 hurricane. Certainly remember waking up that morning to it all. I actually slept through it, but I remember the sound of people, commotion, Dad telling us all to get up, come and lend a hand. We had a big hawthorn tree, which actually had a tree house in it, my tree house, which got destroyed, taken down by the hurricane. Root system of a tree that's come down. Not obviously didn't have a good purchase on the ground, and it's let go. Perfect example of where a tree once stood that came down. And these little trees have grown up out of it. Not any real evidence of anything left from the original tree that was once here. When you see some of these big old things, you know, the fact that they're oak or the likes, whether or not they're remnants of back then that's still not quite rotted down. As it comes into view, it sort of looms at you. It's like a round tower, castle-like structure. You can see the running lime down the sides of it. Now, this used to be a water tower, and no doubt fed the manor house, possibly pumped up from the pumping station, which is at the bottom of the hill, which I'll be visiting in the second video. But now it's a bat tower, and some nights when I've come through here just having a walk in the dark, or dusk rather, you see the bats coming out. But yeah, now it's devoted to the bats. I wouldn't like to go in there, I must admit, cleaning all that up. And there's a way in, but you can't really see. This is all carefully monitored and protected. But yeah, I didn't know what to make of it when I first saw it. I thought, you know, what on earth's that? And then saw it was a bat tower, but looking into it, it was a water tower. What? Oh, you've seen me eating my lunch. What, you want that? You can have a bit in a minute when I finish it. A little bit of off-camera excitement. I boxed the dog. Wanted to play. I still had that bit of food which I had to eat quite quickly. Oh, he's still seeing the dog. Come on, we're going this way. As I was about to walk down here before the lady come with the other dog, I was just mentioning, again, there's evidence of a pillar, and I think there was in the somewhere in here, I've seen it before, there was a second one, and this was obviously another drive access to the water tower and down to the manor. So these woods are obviously managed by the National Trust, but we've often seen, I don't know whether it's the local scouts or it's done through the National Trust, but there's a little encampment here, and sometimes we've seen some tarps set up, some fire, like stones arranged for a fire, and some logs scattered about, placed upright for chairs. And they've had the sort of kids, it almost looks like a little outdoor survival area. So we're coming back to the car park now, and the end of our walk. But it's just a nice location, and I hope you enjoyed the video.